That's in Brazil, Jardim. And that we gave flowers to true parents in Jardim. Abby was there. Then Father talked to Halwa quite a bit in Jardim. And this is my biggest joy of attending True Father. All the state leaders of America and all the European leaders were on a workshop, 120-day workshop in New York. And Father started to play ping pong, table tennis with every leader, and one by one. And he beat everybody except one brother from Austria. So, and as he kept playing, all these leaders, they eventually fell asleep all around East Scotland. They're asleep, and they're like 3 hours. He was playing for 3 hours. So if you look at the next, you see the dwindling. That's me there with a, anyway, jacket.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Next one. You see how.
Okay, yeah.
So then there's a few of us left. And then there's just a few, and I was picking up the balls for him, and he was just putting his hand out, and I was putting the ball in like that. So there's only like us three left. Everyone else was asleep. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then when he finished everybody, he called the brother back from Austria and said, let's play again. And the third time Father had to play 3 more times, and the third time Father could beat him. Then he moved on to the pool table. So then the next one is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't, maybe the pool is not there then. Okay, so I had a very deep love for True Father, and even once when I was pioneering in Aberdeen, I used to pray for an hour and things like that every day. And I used to get this attack from Satan saying, you love Father more than you love God. And then I couldn't pray, and it was like for 3 days, and I was calling people in the headquarters saying, I can't pray because it keeps saying you love Father more than you love God. So it just, anyway, eventually I okay. So Father died September 2012. 40 days before that, he called 13 sisters from every nation to come to Korea. So I went, and it was an Able Women UN workshop. It was like to continue from a women's federation, and he couldn't use that name because of the UN in the title, but so they changed it. But anyway, it was the Able Women UN workshop, and in that workshop, Father emphasized women's federation and said they should speak out more and not just become like a peace movement, but they should be more, outspoken. And he also said men and women are equal at that. And at the same workshop, Dr. Suk talked about Hyungjanim, the H2 Hyungjanim, and he explained why Hyungjanim was selected to be inheritor true parents. And he said after his brother died in 1999, he did for 13 years, he did a prayer condition at 2 a.m. every morning in all weathers, whether it was like up a mountain, minus 20 degrees, or it being eaten by mosquitoes. He continued this prayer condition at 2 a.m. for 13 years. And he said when he prays, he doesn't move. It's just still. And he also said when he called Father on the phone, when in the car, and he called True Father from China. He visited the temples in China. He didn't go sightseeing. He just went to all the temples, and then he called True Father in the car, and he was. Dr. Suk said he was crying like a waterfall. So he really missed True Father. So 40 days after this, was founded. So then in 2013, a few months later, January 2013 was Foundation Day. So I went to Foundation Day in Korea, and I was really, it was a shock, you know, to be honest, when True Mother's alone in the purple robes with the staff, you know. So I went there hoping to see True Father's spirit, you know. I was really trying to see True Father's spirit because he was already in spirit world, and I was also looking out for Hyungjanim because of this emphasis on Hyungjanim, and I don't think he was there. So when Hyungjanim started Sanctuary Church, I started to follow them, and I listened to them, and I listened to, you know, True Mother, the regular church. And for 3 years, I was following them. And at that time, Hyungjanim was very, actually, it reminded me of True Father when he spoke Korean. It was like True Father speaking. And then, what else? Oh, yeah, he talked about the members in Japan had really suffered because of money. You know, they had to donate so much money. So he talked about that. So he attracted a lot of people, especially people with resentments or people who donated a lot of money. And so I was taught, and he said at that time that True Mother's he said she has a different theology. This was in 2013. This was after Foundation Day in 2013. So for 3 years I was listening, and he said True Mother has a different theology, and she tried to tell True Father, and she tried to tell the family, you know, and they weren't listening to her. Hyungjanim showed one video of True Father scolding True Mother, just one video, but when I saw it, I didn't really think it was about the new theology. I thought it was about Ingenim. But it wasn't specific. It was just Father was angry with True Mother. There's only one time that it could show this video. So yeah, so he implied it was about this new theology. Okay, so then in 2016, so this is like after 3 years from Foundation in 2012, 2016, 4 years, Mother did the forgiveness ceremony. It was the grace and forgiveness ceremony, and we had 4 holy items. And she said you have to do. So I was listening to everything, the sanctuary. I always, you know, even when I first heard the principle, I immediately went to the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Christians, and I listened to everybody, the Baha'is. I heard all the different theologies to see which one, you know, what about if they're right? What about if they're right? So I was listening to Sanctuary for 3 or 4 years and Mother, and everything seemed quite normal at that time. Sanctuary was quite normal, no guns or anything, no bullet crowns or anything. It was just quite normal. And he sounded like Father. So it was then Mother said, to receive the grace of forgiveness, you have to do a 40-day condition to prepare yourself, to purify yourself, to receive this grace and forgiveness. You have to do 40-day condition. So, and Hyungjanim in Sanctuary said, if anyone who takes Mother's wine will go to hell. So I was like, okay, you know, and I hadn't told anybody. Like, I didn't tell my family. They were all happily, you know, following Mother, no problem. So I didn't say anything to anybody. And so he said, you'll go to hell if you take Mother's wine. And Mother said, you've got to take this wine for grace and forgiveness. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do the 40 days to get ready for the wine, but I'll do the 40 days to ask God, should I drink this wine? So, you know, so it was like decision day for 4 years after. So I did a 40-day condition, And I was going in the prayer every day, 40 days, nothing was happening, nothing was happening. On the 40th day, I walked into our prayer room at home, and I heard this voice, like, not a voice, but like something said, Hyung Jinim received so much love from True Father, and he misses Father so much. Yeah, he received so much love from True Father, and he misses him so much. And then I knew it from the whole spirit, the atmosphere, I knew that it wasn't a judgment. It wasn't judgment on Hyung Jin, but it was like God's heart understanding him, forgiving him somehow. But I knew that I should drink the wine then. So then I didn't listen much to Sanctuary after that. Once I took the wine, I think things became very clear eventually, because in Sanctuary they had the guns and they had the crown of bullets, and he was speaking more and more resentfully, more and more angry. He became very angry, and so looking back in retrospect, you could see, oh, it's clear now. And True Mother at the same time was, I felt in like when she went traveling around to 7 nations, and I felt Father was telling her to go there. It was an intuition, just like, yeah, this is what Father wants her to do. So it became clearer as the time went on, but those first 3 years, it wasn't so clear. So I think that's about it. To True Mother, and like she emphasizes the young people at that time. If you think back to around Foundation Day, all the second gen they weren't around. They were leaving the church. In Korea, especially, there were hardly any second gen. And there were very few young people in the church. So you can see the difference now, how this, with so many more people, young people now. If you look at the prayer evening, the night prayer, they're all young people. That wasn't like that in 20, whatever it was, 2016. It wasn't, it's completely, she's brought the young people back, and this spirit and truth. I really like the spirit and truth. So I think basically she had to, it was obvious to me that True Mother had to make foundation of faith and foundation of substance. Every time there's a new providence or new leader or new whatever, you always have to do the foundation of faith and foundation of substance. And when you think of, it's not easy. It's like when Noah was drunk and naked and drunk, and you had to follow him. It's not an easy condition. So maybe some things are not easy to follow, but so now I just go with it. For me, the Chamber Moran, the True Father, whether he has original sin or not, I always thought it was a bit strange that he wasn't the first child, because Jesus' lineage was purified through the firstborn, then another one, only one child born, and then one child born, and Cain and Abel. But with True Father, that wasn't like that. So I do easily accept that he inherited Jesus' mission. Jesus already was the firstborn, so True Father inherited Jesus' mission. And what was I going to say? I think, yeah, so that's not a problem for me, but it's the only thing that I do a little bit struggle, I might be honest, is when the True Father had to wait for True Mother and not try any other previous blessing. That is difficult, but we don't understand everything, and I know that True Mother's, that God's with True Mother, so that's about it. So I still love True Father. That doesn't change. So there's no problem to love both of them. So maybe I'll ask John to pray for me. Yeah. Okay. No, you can. No, since I don't pray my heart. I can't pray from my heart. Only just saying words, so that someone else can maybe pray.
Please join in prayer. Our loving heavenly parents and true parents, we thank you very much for this lovely day that we can witness in our physical bodies, experience this beautiful life that you've prepared for us, even though we're still living in the fallen world now with so many efforts being done and such legacy of true parents. We can live in a new age. The whole world lives in a new age, and we know your hope is that we're all with you as your family in the spirit world, where it doesn't matter who came first, who came second, who came last, because your heart for all of us is the same and unconditional. And we look forward to the day of our spirit become perfect reflection of your spirit and embodiment of your spirit. And we want to thank Pat for these beautiful words and her curiosity and the inspiration that you gave her through these years, and the insights that we can take with ourselves and use as an inspiration and guidance. And we want to offer our gratitude to you and to her, and offer this prayer now on behalf of all of us, remaining the morning, the best family, and penning, and